2 months ago today, 11-year-old Erin Maxwell passed away. She was strangled in her home in Palermo, and tonight people gathered to remember the young homicide victim. At the memorial, people watched a slideshow full of pictures of Erin and pieces of past memorials. They also collected food items to give to needy Palermo families in Erin's memory. Now, police say that Erin was underfed at home. Police say that Maxwell's stepbrother, Alan Jones, is responsible for her death. He's charged with second-degree murder. Her father and stepmother, Lindsay and Lynn Maxwell, are charged with endangering the welfare of a child because of what police call deplorable conditions inside their home. The Oswego County Department of Social Services has been under fire since Erin's death. Caseworkers investigated the home but closed the case. Our Jim Kenyon took a closer look into the rules and regulations governing those caseworkers. He has this special report investigating social services.
Before Erin Maxwell died, before state police discovered she was often locked in her room without food, in a home full of animals with piles of garbage and feces, before her stepbrother was charged with murder, and before her father and stepmother were accused of endangering the welfare of a child, years before those shocking revelations, Oswego County child protective workers were called to the home 3 times to investigate complaints that Erin was in danger.
That was not an immediate threat to the child as far as removal of the child.
Oswego County Social Services Commissioner Fran Lanigan is under fire. Many want her fired over her department's handling of those 3 complaints. On July 25th, 2003, a child protective caseworker investigated a complaint that Erin was beaten with a belt, locked in her room without food in a filthy house, and determined that she was safe and unharmed. On November 19th, 2004, a complaint that her clothes reeks of cat urine was unfounded. And on March 27th, 2006, a caseworker investigated a complaint that Erin lived in a deplorable condition, eats out of garbage pails, and hoards food, and determined that she was not being negatively impacted.
Do you feel that in the case of the 3 incidents in which Erin Maxwell was investigated, that they followed this training?
I believe they followed the principles of the training, yes.
Under Freedom of Information, I inspected the New York State training manuals and guidelines for child protective caseworkers. It's clear they have a lot to consider within the law when they investigate complaints of abuse. As it may apply to Erin's case, we did find this reference to hazardous living conditions, health hazards such as exposed rotting garbage, food, human or animal waste throughout the living quarters. But then there was this: safety factors should not automatically be equated with the presence of immediate danger of serious harm, but should be viewed as red flag alerts. And the goal is to keep the family together. So, did the Maxwells manipulate the system?
You know, people can clean up and you turn around and yeah, absolutely. You're out of sight, so they don't care anymore. And we do not have the authority to continue to be involved with a family under law.
Lanigan also says each of her 19.5 caseworkers are juggling 20 abuse and neglect cases at any given time. And those cases are growing at an alarming rate, 2,107 last year. Plus, she says over the last 2 years, about half of her child protective caseworkers have left.
It creates a lot of stress for them, and unless they find some good ways to be able to cope and to support one another, we do see a lot of turnover.
Because of the conditions Erin Maxwell was subjected to during her years at this home in Palermo, State Senator John DeFrancisco has proposed Erin's Law. It would significantly change the way Child Protective Services investigates complaints of abuse and neglect. Jackie Siver helped write Erin's Law. Her daughter befriended Erin, and she registered the complaint in 2006 after Siver witnessed conditions in Erin's home.
And I don't want this to come across that they didn't have the ability to intervene, because they did.
Besides increasing penalties for child abuse, Erin's Law would expand the legal definition of neglected child to make it easier for child protective caseworkers to intervene. And when they're called back to a home after 2 or more reports, they would be accompanied by a police officer. And finally, Erin's Law would require that calls to the child abuse hotline be recorded. Siver claims people were calling the hotline about Erin Maxwell as recently as last April.
And in Erin's case, had there been a record of all those calls, maybe something different would have happened.
The State Office of Children and Family Services is currently reviewing how Oswego County DSS workers handled the Erin Maxwell case.
Are there other Erin Maxwells out there?
I don't have an answer to that, a definitive answer, but I have a fear.
Jim Kenyon, Action News 3.